Hello, welcome to some more yoga. I have actually already recorded this class that I'm about to do, but I forgot to turn the microphone on, so it's just me going. So I'm going to record it again. Luckily in that class all the animals were asleep, so it was zen, but they've all woken up now, so hopefully it'll all go okay. We're going to do about 20-25 minutes of movement, just, waking up the body, getting a bit of mobility into the spine, down the legs. So it's going to be a nice one to do for the mornings or the afternoons. Be fine for the evenings, but it might get you a bit more energized. So we're going to start at the top of the mat. You can start with your feet together or ever so slightly apart. It's completely your preference. We'll just start to warm up a little bit. But first, standing up nice and tall, lots of length through the spine. Chin is parallel to the floor. Activate through your core and your glutes. They're switched on. They're not completely fired up, but they're switched on. They're ready. Keeping you nice and tall. We're going to inhale and reach our fingers, our hands up towards the sky. And then you're going to open arm twist towards the left hand side. So reach your right hands forwards, right hand forward, left fingers back. Feeling a beautiful twist through the spine. Try and keep your hips facing forward so you encourage this twist. On an inhale, reaching the fingers back up towards the sky, and open arm twist towards the right hand side. Feeling this beautiful twist through the spine. Inhale, reaching your fingers up, and this time you're going to come to goalposts with your arms. So as you bring your hands to this goalpost position, reach your heart up, squeeze through your glutes. As you squeeze your shoulder blades together, you can drop your head back if you like, or keep your chin tucked, but just feeling a beautiful lift through your upper spine, reaching your heart forwards, and then just coming back to center. Bring your hands to namaste, to heart center. Give yourself a big breath in, breath out, and then inhale, sweep the hands up. Exhale, open arm twist to the left. Inhale, reach the hands up. Open arm twist to the right. Inhale. Goalpost as you reach your chest up. Exhale. Inhale, coming back to heart center. And then dropping the hands either side of you. Just drop the chin down. And then start to round through your shoulders as you round through your spine. And start to roll all the way down. Allowing your hands to hang heavy. Your head to hang heavy. Your hands might touch the mat depending on your flexibility. Also depending on how long or short your legs are. Now I've got very short legs, so mine do touch the ground, but if you're more up here, that's fine, but just really relax. You can give yourself as much knee bend as you want here to just find a little bit of comfort in this pose. Relax through the back of the neck, and imagine if I was to come along and just hit your arm, it would just naturally start to swing because you're not holding any tension in your arm. On an inhale, we find halfway lift. So you can draw your fingers up your shins, maybe even up your thighs, as you squeeze your shoulder blades together, finding length through the whole of your back, energy out through the crown. Activate through the core, have a bit of lift through your chest. If you've got a lot of flexibility in the back of your legs, you might even find you don't need to bring your hands up off the floor at all. You can just come up onto fingertips. As long as your back isn't rolling down and your shoulders aren't caving in, you've still got that beautiful length through your spine. So we're going to exhale, place our hands on the floor, so bend your knees as much as you need to do this, and step back to downward facing dog. And you can start to walk through downward facing dog, bending one knee and the other, driving one heel down and then the other, giving your hips a little bit of wiggle, a little bit of movement. And downward dog is basically a kind of an upside down V shape, but don't get too worried about straight lines here. So as we settle in to this downward dog. You might find that yes, your legs are really straight, your arms are straight, your heels are down towards the ground, your belly is towards your thighs, but actually you might find that that's not happening. So instead, really focus on the length through your spine. So to get this, you might want to bend your knees quite a lot as you draw your belly towards your thighs, really pushing your hands down firmly into the mat, grounding your knuckles, and then just relax through the back of your neck. Trying to imagine pushing the mat away. And then you're going to bend your knees, bringing your shins down onto the mat. And we're going to find child's pose. So child's pose is basically heels towards your bum and chest down towards the mat. Now you can have your knees as wide as you like here. So toes are towards each other and your knees can be, as wide as your mat if you want to. If that feels comfortable for you, and you can bring your chest down and it's all good, you'll start to feel that a lot in your hips. It'll be a nice little hip opener for you there. Or you might find that actually you quite like having your shins together, your knees together, and you'll start to feel this through your spine, your lower back a little bit more. So you might change on if you do this video more than once. One day you might like to have your knees apart, another day you might like to have them together. So it's all dependent on you and how you're feeling in this moment. Also, you don't have to have your arms outstretched in front of you. They can be beside you, just kind of around your legs. Or if you're finding your face is getting quite squished, you can place one hand on top of the other and then just place your forehead onto the back of the top hand. And then in this pose, on each inhale and exhale, feeling the breath, filling up your body, moving up and down your spine. On your next inhale, we're going to find tabletop. So hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. You're going to tuck your toes and send your hips up and back into your downward facing dog. You're going to hold this for a big breath in. And a big breath out. Bend your knees, look towards your hands. You're going to step your left leg through to the top of the mat. Finding a lunge. Driving back through that back heel. And then inhale, squeeze through your glutes, activate through your core as you reach your fingers, your hands up towards the sky. When you squeeze through your glutes, you'll really start to feel an opening into this right hip flexor. Ooh, wibble wobble. And then as you exhale, float your hands down either side of your front foot and step your back foot in to your forward fold. I'll wait here a moment so you all come to forward fold. On an inhale, we find our halfway lift. And we exhale, and you're going to step your left leg back. So we come to the lunge we were just doing. So it's the same leg in front we just did. You're going to keep your right hand on the floor, and you're going to reach your left fingers up towards the sky. So we come to a dragonfly twist. So our left foot is forward, right hand on the floor. Left hand reaching up. Take a big breath in. Just focus on the hand and the foot that's in front, that's at the top of the mat. Just see if you can even out the weight distribution between the hand and the foot, so you're not putting too much weight into your hand or vice versa. Trying to equal that up. And then you're going to exhale, place your left hand on the floor and then place your back knee down onto the mat. So we're in a low lunge this time with the back knee down on the mat. Untuck your toes. Beautiful. And then you're going to bend the back leg. So bring the heel towards the glute. And then you're going to reach back with your left hand. Ooh, and see if you can grab hold of the foot. Maybe you can start to draw the foot closer to your glutes. Feeling a big opening, a lot of sensation in the right hip flexor and into the quad. Well, it should say quads really. And release that. Place both hands back on the floor this time, and you're going to slide your left leg back into downward facing dog. One side's going to feel a little bit more awake than the other. Your downward dog might feel a little bit uneven now, a little bit wonky, but don't worry, we're going to do something about that now. Take a big breath in. Big breath out, bend your knees, look towards your hands. You're going to step your right leg through this time to a lunge at the top of the mat. If it only gets halfway, of course, help it through with a hand. We'll wait a moment so we're all there before we squeeze through the glutes, activate through the core, and float the hands up towards the sky. Drive back through that back heel, squeeze the glutes, and can you drop your hips a little? Oh, beautiful. Float the hands down either side of the front foot and step the back foot through to a forward fold. We're going to find our halfway lift on an inhale. Roll the shoulders back, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Length through the spine, and then exhale, forward fold. We're going to step the left leg back this time. So it's the same lunge forward as what we just did. I'll wait for you all to get there. Lovely. Placing the left hand on the floor. You're going to reach the right hand upwards this time. So we're twisting towards the right foot. A little dragonfly twist. Big breath in. Big breath out, float that right hand down, drop the left knee down onto the mat, untuck the toes, and then draw the back foot towards the glutes. Ooh, you might feel a lot of sensation in the front of your left thigh here, and then reach back with your right hand, see if you can take hold of it. So you almost feel a little bit like a pretzel now in this pose, a little bit twisty, like you're trying to tie yourself in a knot. Keep breathing into these sensations. Lovely, and then float that foot down as you bring your hand back onto the mat in front of you, and you're going to slide your right leg back into downward dog. There's a little war happening between my cats at the moment, and Rufus, my Westie, is the referee. So I apologise for any noises that you might hear of the cat variety. You're going to bend your knees, coming onto your shins, sitting back onto your heels and bringing your chest up, so coming to a kneeling pose. Taking a big breath in, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to do our open arm twists again like we did at the beginning standing, but we're going to do it kneeling instead. So as you open arm twist, inhale to the left, you lift your hips, reach your left fingertips back as you reach your right fingertips forward. And then as you exhale, sitting back on your heels, interlace your fingers, drop your chin towards your chest and draw your hands away from you. Inhale, twisting the other way. And then exhale, interlace the fingers. Inhale, twist. You can start to move with your own breath here. So if I'm going too quickly, you can slow it down. Exhale. If I'm moving too fast, you can slow it down, which I've just said, or the other way around. So sometimes it's quite nice to close your eyes in these flows when we're just moving from one pose to the other. You know what we're doing. Just start to feel it in your body. Feel it in your breath. Is your body guiding you, or is your breath initiating the movement? And then you're going to do this one more time on each side before we meet in a child's pose. So again, in child's pose, finding the pose that works for you. And then inhale, find again your tabletop and move, transition to your downward facing dog. This is the last downward dog we're going to do in today's little practice. So make it a good one. Big breath in. Big breath out, bend your knees, look towards your hands. We're going to make our way to Malasana, to yogi squat, so you can take a few steps into it to get to your Malasana, or you can do one step and the other, or if you're feeling a bit spicy, maybe you want to just take a little jump up to the top of the mat. So Malasana, our feet are about as wide, maybe a little bit, about as wide as the short side of your mat, or they're a bit closer depending on how your body is shaped, or even wider apart, but wider than hip distance anyway. And your hips, your bum is sitting right in between your feet. You can bring your elbows to the inside of your knees, bring your hands to heart center, and then try and draw your hands to heart center as you lift your chest, opening up your knees with your elbows. This might not be accessible for you, and that's absolutely okay. If it's not, then just come to a really low goddess squat, and you can just place your forearms onto the inside of your knees, onto the inside of your thighs rather, and sit low here, or even just come as low as you can. Be a bit more tricky, a bit more of a strength pose, but still good on the on your hips, on opening up your hips. Or if you would like to sit on your bum instead, you can start to draw your feet in towards your groin, quite a wide stance here, wide pose, and lifting your chest up, trying to keep a nice long spine. Let's hold this for a few more breaths. And whilst you're in this pose, if your feet are flat on the floor, then try to encourage the pinky side edges of your feet to be grounded so they're not caving in here and you're not collapsing in the arch. But you might find that actually your feet aren't flat on the floor, and instead you're balanced a little bit more on your toes, maybe your heels are lifted. And that's absolutely okay as well. You might even want to roll up your mat, the back of your mat, to just give you a little bit of a balance under your heels. Gonna hold for another big breath. Whew. And then exhale, sit your bum down onto the mat. We're gonna stay with this hip opening sort of feeling. Place the soles of your feet together, sitting up nice and tall. You can take hold of your ankles here if you like, and you can start to draw your chest forward as you just put a little bit of pressure onto your inner thighs here, onto the inside of your knees, helping gravity a little bit if you like, or if you prefer to just sit up nice and tall and allow gravity to just start to work on dropping your knees outwards. Taking a few big breaths here. Lovely, and then keeping your legs where they are, you're going to roll down on your back. So keeping this Baddha Konasana, so it's supine Baddha Konasana now, or butterfly, supine butterfly. And you can bring your feet in a little bit closer if you like, or maybe even take them a little bit further away. Just find that sweet spot where you can stay for a few moments and really relax into this pose. Your hands can be wherever you like, really. I quite like one hand on my heart, one hand on my belly in this pose. But sometimes I do quite enjoy having my, I'll try not to muffle the microphone, but having both hands over my head, coming to like a figure 8 sort of position. It can be a bit intense on the shoulders, that one, so just choose the pose that again you can just rest in. You don't find any effort in it. Taking a few big breaths. Breathing into the sensations that you can feel. You can stay in this pose if you like, if it feels good, you haven't quite had enough of it, then stay here. But if you would like to take a bit more of a traditional shavasana with your legs out long, allowing your feet and legs to just fall open, you can do. Or if that's too much, placing the soles of your feet on the floor and just knock your knees together. That will just help any tension you might feel building up in your lower back. Taking a really big breath in and breath out. And then slowly start to bring one knee up into your chest, followed by the other. Give them a squeeze in if that feels good. Maybe give yourself a little rock one side and the other if that feels good too. And then just rocking over onto your right or left side before slowly pushing yourself up to a seated position of your choice. A position that feels good for you, feels good in your hips and your knees. One you can sit up nice and tall in, nice long spine. Placing your hands in your lap or on your thighs or even just down beside you. Closing through the eyes. And all together we'll take 3 breaths to close the practice. So exhaling everything from the lungs first. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale. Inhale. And then float the hands up above your head as you inhale. Bring your hands to touch and draw them through to heart center as you exhale. Thank you for joining me for practice. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, feel free to check out the other videos on this page. Or come and join us in class. It'd be really nice to see you. Bye.